So I wanted to expand a little bit on my post yesterday about business intelligence. Most business intelligence that people are using right now is very limited, and it's what makes the marketing fail. It makes what makes it inconsistent. What makes it hard to produce the content that you need from one central system. But what we do a little bit different is we build these 9 layers of business intelligence that you can use, that you can generate all the content that you need from ads to blogs to emails and everything. And I just want to show you initial the first layer, which is the ideal customer profile, and then you can kind of see how detailed we get and why this works so well for companies, and how we're able to replace a lot of people. So what we've got here on the screen is the ideal customer profile. This is for Woodstock Fence Company, and you can see we define the profile, the purpose, right? This is what we do. This is who we are. And then we really drill down into segments of people that we want to speak to. And so our first primary segment is busy, value focused homeowners. Okay. These homeowners, they have these things in common. They're looking, this is their description. They're looking for fences in this range. This is their demographics. This is what this is where they spend their time on social media. And then we get into the psychological profile of these people. You know, they've heard horror stories about contractors, enough to know to be skeptical, but they don't want to become fencing experts, right? They want control over the final look, cost, and timeline, but they don't want to micromanage. They see themselves as responsible homeowners, but they're not project managers. Like, all of these things go into developing ad copy and sales copy and blog posts and things. And then we get into more nuanced things like false beliefs. We get into buying triggers, right? We get into the value proposition for our company. And then we talk about what's going on from the role of the people that are actually buying. Is this the primary homeowner? Are they married, right? Are they partnered couple making a joint decision? What's their motives, right? Why do they want this fence? They want to increase privacy, security. They want to protect their kids, their pets, their guests, right? They want fair, straightforward pricing. What makes them make this decision, right? They want to know, here's their objections, right? How do I know the price won't change halfway through? Will the fence last? I don't want this turned into a construction nightmare. I'm worried about my neighbors and my HOA. All of these things are objections that they are thinking about in their head right now. And when you put all of this into a document and you structure it the way that we do, when we ask the business intelligence engine to produce copy and produce sales literature and website copy or whatever you're doing, email sequences, it takes all of this stuff into account. And you can see that, this is not a small document. This is very detailed. It's very structured. It's based upon the real feelings and objections and concerns that people that want to buy a fence have. And then you can see we get down into different profiles, right? So this is a profile. This is a safety and privacy driven family. So this addresses one part of the ICP. And then we go into the exact same thing for all of these. So if I want to focus on privacy in my copy or in my sales literature, it's going to look in here and it's going to find this description, and then it's going to use all of these things to generate that copy, which is different from the people that are up here, the busy, value-focused homeowners, right? And so these different profiles, it's not a single profile in this case, it's multiple, because this is what we discovered in our research that were the main people. And so if you look again, you can find more data down here. about the profiles that we found have crossed over. Okay, and so if you look at the cross segment psychographics, which is really basically saying we have these individual ICPs, but these ICPs have these psychographics in common. Okay, what are their identity roles? Right? They think they're a responsible homeowner. They want to be a good neighbor. They want to be a good buyer of value, transparency. Right? Where are they at in their life currently, right? Are they living with privacy, safety, and appearance problems? This is things that we can address, buttons that we can push. Their emotional drivers, even their worldviews, their belief obstacles, external challenges that they have, the fears that they have, the internal conflicts that they have, like all of this is addressed, and when you break these things down like this, and you're feeding your engine this information to get content out that is dialed in is so easy. And you can do this, and I can give it examples, and I can say, okay, give me email sequence, give me ad copy, give me blog posts, give me any type of information that I need out of here, sales scripts. I can do objection handlers, battle cards, anything that we need for the salespeople to close the sales. You can get from all of this. Once you have it, this engine made and generated, it's so easy to get the data out that you need. And so, just some more things, what keeps them awake at night, their frustrations, their aspirations, what they tried and failed before, right? Like all of these things come into account. And so when you really take the time to build this out, and you build it out for multiple profiles, the amount of data that you can get out of this is absolutely astonishing. And so this is just one layer. This is just a profile. We have several other layers that we can do this with, and they all feed on top of each other. And so I just wanted to show you kind of behind the scenes look of one of the layers, and then you can see how powerful this is. So we'll do another video on some of the other layers at another point, but I just wanted to get this out to just show you kind of behind the scenes look. All right, talk to you guys later.